Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right in today because we have got a massive, recently discovered manuscript to unpack. It's attributed to the legendary Jack London, and it's called Children of the Slag. And let me tell you, this isn't just a story. It's an incredibly complex, multi-layered world. Honestly, reading it feels a lot less like reading a traditional book and way more like conducting this tense geological dig into the very foundations of power and resistance. So we're going to unearth it together. We'll peel back the layers of this fascinating historical fiction and see exactly what lies buried beneath the surface.
To make sense of such an intricate narrative, we are going to follow a really clear path downward, using what I like to call the iceberg model. We'll cover 1. The Iron Ground, 2. Children of the Slag, 3. The Salamander Press, 4. The Hidden Documentation, and finally 5. The Deep Tunnels. This structure is going to guide us from the highly visible, meticulously managed depression up on the surface, all the way down to the ancient geological secrets hidden in the absolute dark. Let's get into it. Starting with Part 1, The Iron Ground, the administration of the surface. We begin our journey at the very top of our iceberg in Oakland, California, 1927. But wait, this isn't the roaring 20s of jazz, flappers, and economic booms. Instead, we enter a city where a quiet but absolutely total institutional takeover has already happened. London gives us this chilling thought right out of the gate. Power dresses itself in boredom. Oppression in this world? It isn't cinematic. The city hasn't been bombed, shelled, or burned by some dramatic revolutionary army. No, it's just been patiently and relentlessly administered into submission. I want you to think about your most frustrating, soul-crushing trip to the DMV. But imagine that exact feeling weaponized to control a whole society. The Club of the Bludgeon has literally been replaced by the meeting room, the endless paperwork, and the suffocating wait. And the visible authority here? They call themselves the Administration of Stabilized Commerce. It's a deliberately tedious name, right? It's perfectly designed to mask a brutal oligarchy. This regime controls the populace not through overt violence, but through procedural language, heavy institutional furniture, and relentless surveillance. They are embodied by these cold, calculating figures like Aldous Frick. See, Frick doesn't look out his window and see people. He sees a seething mass of humanity as a mere hydraulic force, a fluid to be pumped, redirected, and ultimately controlled. He is the ultimate, terrifying middle manager of human misery. Moving to Part 2, Children of the Slag, life on the unadministered margins. Stepping beyond those sanitized garrison walls, we enter a completely different reality. It's a 3/4-mile stretch of former industrial waterfront, known simply as the Slag. It's basically the Wild West of industrial decay, but ironically, it's the only place in Oakland where people are actually permitted to be alive. The contrast between the Iron Ground and this margin is absolute, and nothing illustrates this thematic clash better than how these two worlds choose to keep time. Up top, you have the official clock. It's gray, mechanical, synchronized by shift changes and bureaucratic demands. It's a clock designed to squeeze out every single drop of human efficiency. But down in the Slag, the clock is beautifully organic. It runs on the tides of the bay, the smell of sweet bread baking with molasses, and the collective heartbeat of a community that proudly calls itself La Gente, the people. It's a life governed by genuine human need rather than corporate spreadsheets. Into this untamed, resilient habitat, circumstance drops 3 really remarkable children. And this is where it gets fun, because this terrifying, well-oiled machine of an oligarchy is about to be completely outmaneuvered by a couple of teenagers and a mute 8-year-old. First, we have Vera, known as the Aperture. She's a 16-year-old garrison girl who navigates the rigid boundaries of the city like a total ghost. Then there's Thomas Lane, the Compositor, a 14-year-old running the rebel printing press. And finally, the Small Engineer. This is an enigmatic child who can magically diagnose any mechanical structure just by touching it. It's the ultimate underdog scenario against an empire of paper. So let's head to Part 3, the Salamander Press, the illusion of visible rebellion. Our descent takes us further underground now, both literally and figuratively. Vera, acting as a secret messenger for a deeply compromised garrison sergeant named Deakins, arrives at a hidden printing press in the damp heart of the Slag. It's known as the Salamander, and it smells of iron, ink, and pure danger. Now, Frick and the Oligarchy are absolutely obsessed with this specific press. In their highly bureaucratic minds, it's a visible target that can be negotiated with or neutralized. Deakins actually thinks he's protecting the press by brokering a delicate deal to stop them from printing labor coordination sheets. The administration assumes that by simply tracking the distributed paper, they can easily map the entire rebellion.
And it makes perfect logical sense to a regime that views the entire world as nothing more than a paper trail waiting to be audited.
But here's where things flip in part 4. The hidden documentation descending into the true resistance. It turns out that perfect logical sense of the oligarchy,
it is entirely backward. The sheer arrogance of their power is precisely what makes them so profoundly vulnerable to those living on the margins. Listen to this revelation straight from the text. The press is what they watch. The tunnel is what we're doing. The printing press isn't the asset at all. It's a massive, noisy decoy. It exists solely to create a surveillance blind spot. While the administration is busy obsessing over wet ink, paper distribution, and cracking the secret codes of the salamander, the real threat is being carefully staged in the abandoned, uncharted drainage tunnels deep beneath their feet. It's a masterful, high-stakes sleight of hand.
Now the pressure here is immense, and the clock is ticking loudly for our underdog protagonists. 18 months ago, an insider named Elena Reyes smuggled highly sensitive documents to the Slag, but Frick is methodically closing the net. Reyes was captured 12 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, her remaining allies were ruthlessly extracted from the population. The children realize they have a rapidly closing window, specifically a mere 3 days provided by Deacon's surveillance gap, to act before Frick inevitably breaks Reyes under interrogation. So, how did Reyes manage to get this highly classified information under the nose of the ultimate surveillance state in the first place? Well, through a total masterclass in sheer patience. For 4 long years, she mapped their complex filing systems. Then, she slowly drained the files from the bottom, timing thefts perfectly outside of routine audits. To any supervisor looking at the surface, the oligarchy's sprawling records looked completely untouched and in perfect order. She successfully used the very tediousness of the administration as a weapon against them. And her patience paid off brilliantly. She extracted exactly 400 pages. 400 pages of names, dates, financial records, and undeniable evidence of systemic internal resistance against the oligarchy. This explosive truth has been sitting perfectly preserved in the dark, damp tunnels below the Slag, just waiting to be unleashed onto the surface. It is literally the ultimate bureaucratic bomb, ready to shatter the illusion of stabilized commerce. Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, the deep tunnels, confronting deep time. We've finally reached the very bottom of our iceberg model.
Guided by the small engineer's remarkably accurate, touch-drawn map, Vera is led past those hidden documents into an entirely uncharted branch running deep beneath the Slag. It takes us completely away from the political squabbles of the surface and into something altogether primal. What is older than a city? When you ask that question, this story suddenly shifts gears. It transforms from a tense political thriller into a profound philosophical exploration of geology, deep time, and our fleeting place in it. Think about the ground beneath your own house right now. What was there 100 years ago? 1,000 years ago? 10,000? The mute child leads Vera into an impossible, ancient chamber. It completely predates all known human records of the Oakland region. We're talking about a vast space built of cut and fitted stone, utilizing construction techniques dating back perhaps 8,000 years. Fresh, ice-cold water runs continuously over the native rock. Down here, the administration of stabilized commerce, it doesn't matter. It's an environment completely and utterly indifferent to human bureaucracy. After all, you simply can't audit an ancient subterranean river. The water meant continuity. That is the essential takeaway here. That ancient, freezing water represents forces vastly older and significantly more enduring than any human oligarchy, any paperwork, or any administrative control. The administration thinks it has won because it currently controls the filing cabinets and the clocks. But geology always wins. The Earth simply does not care about Aldous Frick's stabilized commerce. And that brings us to Vera's ultimate character arc, and a deeply resonant question for all of us. Vera stands caught in the middle, between the crushing, administered surface world above and the ancient, enduring depths below. When immense pressure seeks a way through, what kind of opening are you willing to become? What are you the aperture of? It's a powerful question about resistance, flow, and purpose that really echoes long after Jack London's manuscript ends. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I genuinely hope it leaves you looking at the solid ground beneath your feet just a little bit differently today.